Well, the time has come to put this engine back in this 01 RXDI. I think I'm going to do a step-by-step engine install so you can see each step. So first one is I like to put this pipe that goes to the air box off the air compressor. I like to put this on now because it's really hard to reach down inside to put that on. So I'll tighten this up and then we'll move on to the next critical step. And the next one is this tiny little vent line that comes out of the bottom of the air compressor right here. You got to get this guy on, and that can't be put on once the engine's installed. We'll get that on there. And then I like to put these Oetiker clamps on, which are tight, but they work. And I'm probably going to have to flatten it out to get it on. All right, that is on. Next thing is the vent from the counterbalance. I put crank vent, but it's actually the counterbalance. And we'll zip tie that on. Might be a bit big on that zip tie, but works. See, these are all the things, like that's hard to get to, that's hard to get to. So that will be next on this side, but I'm probably gonna have to drop it down a bit more. We also want to hook up power to the starter, and I hooked up the oil cable to the throttle body because that is really difficult to get at after the fact. But to drop the motor in, you have to remove the throttle body. Oh, there's no room. But now we got to get it further down to hook up those other water lines. This is going to be our next issue, is this bolt. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can hook up. Oh boy, hooking up the starter. Don't know if there's much to see or if it's even that exciting. Probably should have done this with the motor up higher. Okay, we also need to find the big ground bolt. Okay, here we go. So I put that one there for the compressor. That goes down under the motor. And it's that line right there that you see. And goes out the back. That line right there. Next one we'll hook up is this one on the top. This goes to the exhaust pipe. And then I'll zip tie that. Okay, we're going to drop her down just a little bit more. And now I can reach that water line that hooks up to the cylinder head. I think, geez, that's short. Oh, let's see. Does that give me enough? This one back here, wherever. Somewhere here. Well, maybe you can see it. Zip tie. That should be all the hard to get to items, other than I gotta slide the part of the exhaust in. But let's drop this down, and then I gotta fight to get that rope out, but it's the only way I know to get this engine to drop in nicely, so let's do it. And we have touchdown. Now I gotta fight to get the rope out. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere. Next thing I like to do is just put a bolt in the front engine mount only, just to sort of stabilize the motor, because you do have to kind of wiggle it around when you're doing stuff. So at least it's locked into one mount. And I'll probably have to two-hand this anyway. Yep. 13 mil to snug her down, but not snug, just so we can still move it around, because we still got to line the engine anyway. And well, we can plug the magneto in if we want. We can hook up this line, which goes all the way around from the T over here. T fitting around into the front of the mag. And we'll zip tie that on. So I've got the oil line cable hooked up, as I was saying, when it was out, because it's hard to go down there and work on that. Now we're going to hook up the throttle cable up here, and then we can drop the throttle body on. And I think actually before we put the throttle body on, we actually have to put the air box in here, or there's no room to get it in. So I'm going to hook up the throttle cable first. Goes in through the bottom, up on there, lift up to get over the notch, drop it down, and that's it. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on there though, or do I need it? I like putting Loctite on everything. Check throttle. Oh yeah. It's opening up fully. And the oiler is moving at the same time, which I'll show you that. I got that pointing in the wrong direction. I think I do. Yeah, let me loosen that off and spin it. Don't over tighten these, you'll break them off. Ask me how I know that. Now, I'm gonna pop it in for now. See the oil. Good. What's next? 3 more silly things to hook up. There's a ground wire that comes from the harness, and that has to go right here on the PTO side of the engine. So that's one thing. What was the other one? The water line down here, the main water line going into the head. So I got to put that on. So I'm going to do those 2 things next. Okay, I'm going to slide the exhaust in the lower part of the exhaust, but got a lot of electronic components here. So we might as well hook up the air injectors, front and rear. And there should be a temperature sensor right here. This will only go in one way. Okay, fuel injectors can't go on until we put the fuel rail on. I would like to bolt on the knock sensor, just like that. So I'm going to bolt that on next. And slide in the lower exhaust. And that goes into this orange coupler back here. And that's now in. Now, we have to bolt this exhaust to the engine housing. And that one is really tricky. Let's see if we can have a look down in there. Okay, I forgot to put the bracket on. This bracket here, so I had to bolt that on, and now I can bolt it to the exhaust and then snug everything down. That was a big bad mistake because it's super tight to get in there, but I'll tighten that up and then we'll move on to the next phase. Next thing I'm going to do is plug in the throttle position sensor and the map sensor. And they're different lengths, so you can't mix them up. Which way does it go? Kind of curious, that should have had a orange cover on it, so I'm gonna go get one of those. And it's clipped on. Then there's another one on the other side, a temperature sensor, and a throttle position sensor. How can I do this that you can see? Kind of got to hold it. So this one's a 2-wire. Air temp and another throttle position sensor. See, that one has the orange boot on it, so I'll go put another boot on the one down here at the bottom to keep it sealed up. Moving on. At this point I'm going to throw some oil in just so I don't forget. And we'll bleed the oil pump. I need more oil. Okay, holding the throttle wide open with the clamp, that clears the oil lever to get at this bolt. This is going to let oil bleed through. Throw a rag down there. Getting rid of any air. And that's all there is to that. That is a 5/16. Okay, so at this point we need to align the engine so that then I can put this part of the exhaust on, and I can't do that until we bolt that bolt down. Can't bolt that bolt down till the engine is aligned. Let's do that. Oh, here's another line I got to hook up here too, the main air. And that line doesn't look like she's big enough. Might just fit. We'll give it a try. Got her. It's just long enough. That line comes off, this thing do not run. Okay, now alignment. Okay, so I got the alignment plate on, just bolts on. And then you got a rod that goes through. And then we got to get it through the rubber piece in the back. There it is right there. Oh, she's right in. I'm going to bolt that down and see how that aligns, because we've got it now left to right, and see if we got to bring the engine up or down. So let me throw some bolts in there. Not exactly jumbo bolts either. Okay, we just got her bolted down hand tight. Just going to pull this out, back in again. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I don't have to do anything. Just got to snug these bolts up, torque them. Let me try it again. Oh, that's awesome. That's perfect. Can't believe it. And we'll 30 them up. How accurate is this now with all these extensions? Close enough. So we got a couple more little things to clean up. That pipe that was on the bottom of the air compressor came around, that one that we were feeding under, and comes out to here, and that goes onto the throttle body. So I got to put that on there, and then there's one more pipe that goes right beside it. If you can see the little fitting right up there. Now I got to find that pipe, which is right here, and that's going to go on there, and I want to take the tape off. Okay, I got the clamp on, and I got the zip tie on that. Now, up top, there's one more that goes into the throttle body, right there. And I labeled that throttle body. And again, pull the tape, put that on, and then I'll put a zip tie on that. Then we can put the cover in. Oh, we also got to plug this in. And that plugs in to this fitting right here. And again, I can't do it with one hand. And I want to bolt the throttle bodies, like tighten the clamps, but I want to slide this air box in first, because I'm pretty sure we're going to run into an issue here. Yeah. Might have to just pull the throttle body off to get it in. I'm pretty sure I have to. What? crazy tight. And then there certainly isn't a ton of room. And then there's a little hook on the bottom and a hook on the motor. And that has to hook in. Good luck finding that. There it is. And then there. So that is the procedure for that. Now we can tighten up those hose clamps. Tightening up the clamps. I rotated this clamp around and had it pointing the other way, and you had to get in between the two to tighten them, and you can't. And then find this one. And I have this one pointing backwards, or to the back of the machine. And I can just see. Still not putting the fuel rail on until I get this part of the exhaust, because I got to reach down there and tighten up the clamp. Yeah, she's getting soft. Oh, come on. Not satisfied with that being on all the way. There she goes. What? That's hot. Okay, zip tie on there. Beautiful. And time to put on the upper exhaust. I got her all gooped up nice. Pre-goop. Wash her up. Probably won't stay. Oh, it's so heavy and awkward. Get the 3 bolts in. None of them are easy. One is easy. 2 are brutal. Had to pop off the air box. Okay. Nice. Now we'll tighten these up and then torque them down. And I got to get to the nut on the back too. Reaching into the abyss. Be so nice if you could get on that nicely. Let me tighten that down. It's a waste you watching this. Good. We got a bolt here for the throttle body. That bolts to the exhaust, and that's just a little shorty. It's a short guy like that, but that's not it. There she is. No. How many times? Think you got it in forward. Just going into a rubber boot, so that's good enough. Bolt down there. 17 millimeter. See if we can get this bolted on. Usually have a lot of trouble with these too. She's going. Except I got the wrong wrench. 17. That is Loctited too. I don't know if I showed that or not. Good. And then we got some water lines. Small one down there. And a zip tie going on. Big one up top. And 2 zip ties. This guy here. That's her. And that's not finally. So down in the back, I got to tighten the exhaust bracket that bolts to the cylinder head. And then we're good to go. So let me tighten those bolts. As tempting as it is to put the fuel rail on, you really want to leave it till last because I always forget to tighten these clamps right down there on the exhaust. And when the fuel rail is on, you cannot do that. So let's put the fuel rail on. Okay, here we go. Fuel return. Oh, that was something. Oh. And the air, that goes out that muffler at the back. And I need some Loctite. This is a weird looking clip. This is the clip we want for the back. Don't drop them down in the bilge. What? Everything wants to fall right under the motor. Okay, I gotta get a socket for that. That, I believe, is a number 5. Good. And now we can pop that on. Good. Make sure there's no obstructions or in the way that we put that on. Kinda is. I think ideally that wiring should go on top. A few adjustments. Should put the front fuel injector on. I think so. All in a knot. Really? Air, supply, and then we got to bolt everything down. There's one more water line to hook up on the bottom of the exhaust up front here too. No. Yep. See, that just sucks. That just created the worst nightmare for me. Where did that go? Ah, look at that. Haha. Oh, that better be the right rail. I don't think it is. It's the wrong fuel rail. So we got to take all that out. I don't know how they got mixed up. There's 2 types of injectors for this machine and 2 types of rails. And I checked it, but I checked it wrong. So here you go. See how these holes are much closer? They're off center, and those are centered. I had the one that was centered, and we need this one here actually that's off centered, or this one. Putting that one in it. Ugh. Back in place. She's snug in there, I'll tell you. Darn. Okay. Air again. Fuel again. And then the clips on both sides. Right, battery's going in. And this is a pain. Whew. Okay, that was a job and a half. Okay, let's get the Seadoo Pro. Good. I'd say, oh, I know what I want to do. Reset the throttle position. Done. Okay, here we go. Either it's going to start or it's not. Woo! That was amazing. That's after a total teardown, total rebuild. Didn't do anything. I find that if you put the desk post on, or the tether on like 3 times, it primes it, they'll fire right away. These things are amazing when they run good. They run mint. I'm gonna hook it up to the water. Get some water happening. Still got the alignment tool on. Any leaks? No leaks. Fuel pressure relief works good. Wahoo! Another one for the books. Okay, so now we are down to putting the pump on. I changed the oil, took the old oil out, put some fresh oil in, changed the wear ring. That's another bear to get those out. Easy to get them in, hard to get them out. Put a little bit of grease on the drive shaft and pop that in there. I'll wipe that off, put a little grease on this end, put her in, get her going. And grab the pump. Make sure you got this plastic piece on and the 2 rubber O-rings are there. I put this to here, then I go inside the hull because I got to put the metal collar on. And you can't see. So there's the drive shaft. So I got to pull it back just a little bit, put the collar on, and then push it forward. Pull her back a bit. Collar. Let's put it on the right way. Put the flat washers on. Loctite. Yep. 4 lock washers. And then the nut. So we got lock washers and Loctite, but a lot of vibration. Okay, torque wrench. Oh yeah, that always happens too. Such a tight space. Drop the socket 100 times and bolts fall under there too. And they're not magnetic. Going 30. That's it. Good enough. Pump going on. I just put the arm on for the VTS. There's 2 different types. One is plastic, one is metal. This is the premium plastic one. 4 bolts and blue juice. There's 2 little rubber. I don't know if they're on there or not. There should be 2 O-rings in there. We got to get them. Rubber. Hard to see, but they actually were in there. Okay, let's see if we can get this sucker in place. $20. Diagonal. All plastic, all this stuff. You get more than 20 on there and it'll crack. Very rare to even have a pump that doesn't have at least one of the ears cracked. All right. Yeah. There we go. We got steering. May as well put those in. If I take it to the water to do a test, I'll forget. I don't know why. Don't need Loctite on this because it's got a nylock as well. This bolt here with this bushing on it. This is for our reverse. Good. So there's a spring. That hooks on there. This one hooks on here. Gonna do a quick test. Let me know if it's all good. Reverse. Steering. We'll check the trim after because I don't have a tether right here. Okay, I think that's everything. We're back here. We're all buttoned up. Okay, so here's the part I was talking about on the jet boat that we were working on. Like, look at that tension. I can't even push it back to even expose the ring. On the other one, you could push it right back. I don't know whether the bellows was messed up, the engine was way too far forward, but man, that's a ton of tension. You can't move it without one of these. Jeez. That's it. I like having a little bit of grease in there too, because man, when you want to change them, they get seized in there sometimes. A little bit of greasage. Just going to put a zip tie on there so that keeps it removable. I have the metal ones, but I never put them on. Okay. Cut that off. Got clearance here. Yes, we do. Cover and the plastic, solid plastic bolts, wherever they are. Where do we keep the solid plastic bolts? I think they'd be in here somewhere. Nope. Really? I keep them in here? Nope. That's all the sealants. That's all the... Come on. Don't have them saved up here either. Going hunting. Look in this drawer already. Look at the heck. Look, more here, here. Those have washers. Okay, that's done. Last job I got to do here is look at this seat adjuster. I got to lock that down. I think I'm also going to remove this strap off the seat. I don't like it. So that's where it's got to go. So that's right before I... Yep. Let me lock that in now. Good. All right, I say we do one last quick fire up just to be sure that everything's okay now that I put the pump on. And then we got the rattle. She's got the pump rattle. Love it. Okay, I think that we are done. What about the vents? Actually, I only like to put the one side on because I need access to the battery. push pin. I guess leave it part way out so I can get it. The other one goes over here over the battery, but I don't want to block access to it. Now we're done. All right, so that's it for this one. Now I got to clean up the RXDI. I got to strip that whole motor right down, clean every single part. Going to inventory it up on the shelf so we have tons of parts for when the next one comes in. Another whole bunch of goodies here, all usable. All the little custom fittings and stuff, you know, for the steering and whatever. Electrical fittings. Well, the goodies. And then here's what's left. Got the hood, everything. Everybody, a bunch of people needed parts, so a whole bunch of people benefited from that tear down. So very happy about that. Now I got just that degreasing thing that just makes an absolute mess, but it's nice once you get them all cleaned up and up on the shelf. Okay guys, so that's it for this one. Really happy with the way it turned out. I just didn't have the heart. This was supposed to be a tear down junker like the GTX. Feel very good about tearing apart that GTX. It was just in miserable condition. This was just too nice. It just did not make sense. It's still shining. I got to do a little, rip the decals off, give it a nice little polish. When I say decals, I mean the stickers here. Get it re-decaled, and we also got to do a test drive. I don't know if I'm going to do that this year or not. Dock is out, weather's turning. Maybe if we got a nice day, we'll take it for a rip and see if there's any issues, any codes or anything, but I'm not seeing anything right now. But I guess that's about it. I'm not even sure what we're doing next, because I have pretty much all the projects all buttoned up. So I guess we'll see what happens. Anyway, appreciate you watching, and hope to see you on the next one.